Hi there, listeners and viewers, and welcome back to the Network Connections podcast. And today, in the fifth episode, I welcome one of our members, BenBrooks from Geelong Managed Print Solutions. Welcome, Ben.
Hey, Jürgen. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
That's great. Now, I want to make sure that everybody knows about our chapter before we get started. So Network Connections is a BNI chapter in Geelong that meets every Thursday morning at 10 a.m. at the Wool Exchange Entertainment Complex, and anyone that is not a member of the chapter is certainly welcome to come along and meet a bunch of awesome business owners. It's a group of professionals who are dedicated and committed to building each other's success, but also building the success of their own industries. And Ben is one of the members of that chapter, and we'll learn more about Ben today.
Oh, that's right. And BNI is certainly one of the better things we've done for our business, Jürgen. So happy to promote it anytime, mate.
Yeah, that's good. So, so I want to ask you a few questions so that people listening to the podcast can get a better idea of who you are as a person and learn about your business. And of course, those viewing the video can see you there, and we all want to get a better feeling for Geelong Managed Print Solutions as a business and where you're headed.
Of course.
So let's go back to your childhood and find out a little bit about what ambitions did you have to as a child when you wanted to, or what you wanted to be when you grew up?
Well, like a lot of kids growing up in Victoria and especially Geelong, I was a mad Geelong supporter. So my dream as a young tacker was to play AFL football.
Yeah.
But pretty quickly realised my talent wasn't quite up to it, so I had to give that one a miss when I hit my early teens.
Okay.
But that, I guess, growing up, that's one of the things I remember. Our family's very much football orientated, and I love the AFL. And another thing I was thinking, and I've been thinking about this, is I used to want to be a magician as well in early primary school days. I used to love magic for some reason, but that fell away reasonably quickly as well. But growing up, those were the two things, I guess.
Okay.
And I guess also science. I did like a little bit of science as well. Like Beyond 2000, I love that TV show from back when we were real young.
Yeah.
And was right into all that sort of stuff too.
Yeah. Well, there's a fair bit of magic you can do with science.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So, it was something that I really enjoyed doing growing up.
Yeah. So, how did you end up getting into the business world then?
Well, it's a funny one. I going through high school. And during year 12, I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with my life. I knew that I liked money, and I liked, I wanted to, buy property and have money and security and things like that. And I but I wasn't overly academic, I guess, and I didn't have any real ambitions to go to university because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And that was the reason for me, I guess, to decide not to go. And during year 12 exams, I actually got my first job as a door-to-door salesperson.
Okay.
Which those of you that knew me when I was that old, 18, 17 years old, I certainly wasn't anywhere near a talkative person. I wasn't a salesperson. I wasn't a good talker. I was actually quite shy. And it was a surprise to most people that I took a selling job, door-to-door sales. And so I did that. It forced me to talk to people, obviously. And deal with dogs in the front yard along the way as well.
Yeah.
Selling home phone discounts.
Yeah. And
surprisingly, after I got over the fear of knocking on someone's door and talking to them, I did reasonably well out of it. And so sales, I guess, seemed to be the area which I went down. I did that for a couple of years, I guess, and progressed through different companies and doing different things, managed my own little teams and things like that. And then I got a job from there as a sales presenter, where I was fortunate enough to travel the world, all of Australia, and lived overseas, doing sales presentations over lunch and dinner.
Okay.
To audiences, selling cookware and homewares and mattresses and steam cleaners and things like that. So that was a great experience. I was only 19 at the time when I started that job, and that was a great experience. I got to travel all over the place and worked there until I was about 24, and came back because the job, I guess the job had finished, and I looked for sales jobs in and around town, in and around Geelong, and applied for a job working for the local Ricoh dealer. And at the time, I didn't know anything about photocopiers, didn't really know what a fax machine was, didn't know anything about any of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Went through the interview process and was given an opportunity to work for Ricoh here in Geelong. and that kicked off my photocopier sales career.
Okay.
So that was my first introduction into, I guess, business account management, where I was dealing with businesses instead of residential customers, and working our way through those sorts of situations, and meeting and greeting business owners and dealing with them with their contracts, and learning lots about the actual photocopiers and how they worked at the same time. So that's where I got started in the industry. Well, like 11 years ago now. So
okay,
time's gone really fast.
Yeah. And when did you branch out into business on your own?
Well, from Rico, I was approached by, because the company I worked for had offices in Melbourne and all over the place. So I got approached to go up to the Melbourne office, and so I worked up in Melbourne for a couple of years. And then Lanier, which at the time was a globally owned Rico company, same product, just a different company, approached me to go work for them, which I did for 2 years. And I stayed in regular contact with my Rico work colleague, Brad Hearns, and we became really good friends. And we talked about how good it would be to have our own business, have our own dealership, ideally in our own hometown, because we're both Geelong born and bred. And we know guys that have travelled across the country to have their own photocopier dealership.
Yeah.
After being at Lanier for a couple of years as an employee, I was the sales agent for the CBD of Melbourne. I convinced Brad to come up to Lanier, just because the structure and things there was really good. And that's when we decided, hang on a second, Lanier didn't have a dealer in Geelong.
Okay.
So we approached Lanier senior management about Brad and I starting our own business, our own dealership in Geelong, and selling the Lanier/Rico product. And they were fully supportive of that. And Geelong Managed Print Solutions was born 3 years ago at the start of last month. So
yeah, that's great. Yeah.
That's the short story of how it all became.
Yeah, so you actually developed a plan, and you put a proposal to Lanier to support you in setting up a dealership under your business. Yeah, we did.
So they supported us with the ability to sell their product. The business and the setup of the business was all on Brad and myself, so we were 100% independently owned business.
Yeah.
But we were able to start off with being able to sell a great product. The Rico Lanier product is globally number one, very reliable. It's a tier one product. And it was a product that we'd sold our entire career, so we knew it back to front. And so that was great. So we launched Geelong Managed Print Solutions 3 years ago. We bought a customer base from a previous Lanier dealer that wasn't currently a Lanier dealer at the time.
Yeah.
But the guy he was still managing a few machines out in the field, so we approached him. Bought ourselves a very small base of customers, which was enough to, facilitate a technician, because Brad or I were not a technician. So we need someone to fix the machines and install and all those sorts of things. And that's how we started.
Okay, that's great.
So it certainly required a lot of growth, because we needed to feed our families and support ourselves, pay the staff and all the overheads. And so started small, and we're still growing today.
Yeah. Yeah, so now you've grown to a base. You've got your own office in Geelong, and you've got how many employees now?
There's 5 of us in total. So we've got a fully fledged service division, which we had at the start, but we've grown much bigger since then. So we've got technicians that take care of all of our deliveries, installs and training. They take care of our, the break fix when the photocopier needs service calls, and also take care of, IT related side of the photocopier, like setting up the printer drivers and things like that. We've got full-time admin, obviously, and myself and Brad are doing most of the deals, and we're currently looking for a new salesperson at the moment, actually. So that's exciting for us to really take us to the next level. Yeah,
that is exciting. And you've also taken on board, in addition to Lanier, a couple of other brands as well now, haven't you?
Yeah, we have. So I guess the Lanier Rico product was our original offering. And we were noticing gaps in the marketplace with certain situations. So we've taken on other brands to facilitate all situations and provide more options for our clients. So we now sell the Lanier Rico. We also sell Samsung, and we also sell Kyocera. So we're fully fledged dealership for all those brands, and have access to their complete range of printers and photocopier multifunctional devices. The great thing about that is that we're one of the few dealerships in Geelong that have multi-brands. So some of our competitors will offer other brands for small printers, but we're one of the only that offer the complete multi-function A3 device in different brands with a full service backup as well. And the best thing about that is that we can offer our clients the best solution that suits them, not that suits us and suits our suppliers. So we can put together different options that are all different price points, and the customer can choose what's best for them based on our recommendations.
Yeah, which is a big point of differentiation, I'm sure.
Well, absolutely, yeah. And it's we sell a good mix of all three brands, so we're not pushing one wholly and solely. It really comes down to the situation, what the client needs, and the best solution for the client at the time.
Yeah, well, great. So now, what about achievements and so on so far? I understand you've been one of the suppliers, and I'm just trying to remember which one. You are in the top sales agencies or sales. What's the right word?
I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to, but the business has had a lot of achievements since we started, and we've done really well with the Samsung product since we've brought that on board. Reaching certain targets, and I guess compared to other dealers that they may have throughout the country. But I guess the business itself has had a lot of success and achievements because I guess we started so small. There was only a couple of ways we could go, and that was succeed and up, or crash and burn, obviously. So luckily and fortunately for us, we've gone the right way. And I guess when we first started, we had about 6 colour machines in the field, and we've now got 95% of our sales are colour machines, and just everything's changed completely since day one, obviously for the better, and the growth has been really great to be a part of, and we're looking to continue to grow and take it to the next level.
That's fabulous. So when somebody first meets you and says, "Oh, Ben, what do you do?" How do you describe that? Do you have a sort of a one-sentence elevator pitch?
Well, what I try and not do is make it sound too complicated. I think some people can, and in any job, in any industry, can make their job sound overly complicated. When someone asks me what I do, I simply say sales and service of photocopiers and printers. Yeah. And that's as basic as it needs to get from a starting perspective. I can make it sound heaps cooler if I wanted to, but saying that gets the point across, and then from there other questions will come that can lead into document management and print management and all these sorts of things. But primarily it's sales and service of photocopiers and printers, and we talk about the brands that we sell because most of them are all well known, especially the Samsung name, and we go from there.
Yeah, well, it's important to get the message across in a way that people understand, isn't it?
Well, it certainly is, because you can certainly overcomplicate it sometimes, and we don't want to do that at all. We just try and keep things as simple as possible.
That's right, yeah. Okay, so what do you spend your time now doing day-to-day mainly?
Well, day-to-day, BNI, we're obviously actively involved in some BNI groups, and so BNI takes up some time in a great way, meeting other business owners and attending to referrals that I get, and also passing on referrals to other business owners. We currently, Brad and I are doing the sales, so we're the sales guys, we're the account managers, and that takes up a lot of our time as well, plus also obviously managing the business, because there's other aspects of the business that run without us, which is, I guess, the administration and the service component. We've got staff on board, we've got great staff on board who take care of those areas for us. And we just, I guess, facilitate what they're doing when required. But our primary role is to do the deals, the sales, promote the brand, promote our business, and do plenty of networking and things like that as well.
Yeah, that's great.
So certainly busy times. Our weeks are very busy.
Yeah. Well, it's good. I mean, I like that you're really clear about the different roles as well. So administration, you've got people that do the administration, and you just make sure that nothing's in their way and they can do their job, and likewise for the technicians. So
well, and that's right, and even the same with Brad and I mean, we have our separate roles within the business too. I mean, we both oversee a bit of everything, but when it comes down to it, there's certain areas that I oversee more than he does, and it just saves us both spending the same amount of time on the same thing, and we could be doing other things and utilising our time better. So right. Within the business and the things that we oversee, we have our own roles as well, which makes for a great working relationship.
Yeah, and it's much more efficient that way too. I mean, a lot of small,
of course, a
lot of small businesses fall into the trap of trying to do everything themselves. Particularly if it's a 1 or 2 man operation try to do everything themselves because they believe it saves money, but in the end it's just draining them and taking away their focus from what they're good at.
Definitely. And when we first started, 3 years ago, and we were obviously very small, and I guess didn't have the resources to put more staff on at the time, but we didn't have an administration, full-time admin at the start, so we were doing a lot of that ourselves. And when we employed Jess, and having that position filled has obviously freed up our time to focus on the other areas of the business that need attention as well. So yeah, it's putting on staff at the right time, obviously, has been a great thing, and those decisions have been awesome for us.
Okay, great. So what were some of the biggest challenges you've faced so far in building the business?
Well, I guess some of the biggest challenges was making critical decisions and taking the risk with those decisions. Again, when we started, obviously we were a small business. We had one technician, myself and Brad. We were out of a different office. We were actually sharing an office at the time. So the original big decision we made was to get out on our own office completely. And we're now in it was a brand new, a couple of years ago, warehouse, showroom, office space out in just off Thompson's Road, Tarkham Court. And that was the first decision. And with that, at the same time, we hired full-time administration. So we're kind of taking the risks with the investments within the facility that we work out of, and also staff. And then adding technicians as well is always a big decision, because obviously everything I've just mentioned costs money, and you need to make sure you can afford to do those. Even though you take risks and all those sorts of things, you still need to be able to follow through with the affording of it all. Yeah. So they've been the biggest challenges at the time, and have all been great decisions. So
yeah, that's good work.
It's all worked out really well.
Yeah, that decision-making strategy, I'm sure, will serve you well going forward as well, because those kind of challenges are always going to be there to balance the risk and the cash flow in making investment for the future, particularly now where you're hiring a new salesperson. Again, you're probably doing all those calculations and working out, is it the right time, and
exactly
is the payback going to come at a sort of sensible sort of rate for the business.
Exactly, and then I guess that's where being in a business partnership with someone works really well. Brad and I are on the same page with everything, but we get to the page in a different way, so we both operate completely differently. Yeah. And when key decisions and big decisions have to be made, bouncing the ideas off each other, and if one would agree or not agree, we eventually get there, but we challenge each other along the way to ensure that we're making the right decision for the business. Yeah, and that's been a great thing. If it had been wholly and solely myself, decisions may or may not have been made, and different decisions may have been or may not have been made along the way as well. So it's always good to have someone who has as much vested interest as you in the business to bounce the ideas off and ensure that we're making the best decisions for our business moving forward.
Great. So is there anything that keeps you awake at night?
Worries
you?
Well, I'm not the stress head of the business relationship, so I have the unique ability to switch off when I go home. Yeah. And mainly due to I've got a wife and two great kids, and they keep me very busy when I get home. So it's easy enough for me to switch off and focus on my family outside of work time. And but certainly when I wake up in the morning and I'm driving into work, it's all works on, and we start worrying about what we need to for the day then. Okay. Whereas Brad, I'm not so sure. I think he's had a few sleepless nights along the way. So what sort of goals do you have for Geelong Managed Print Solutions going forward? Well, we're in a unique growth phase, and I guess we've always been in a growth phase since we started, but more so now than ever. We're 3 years into the business. They say the first 3 years is the hardest, but the next 3 years will probably be just as hard for us, no doubt about it. Like we've mentioned a couple of times, we're looking to put on a salesperson, so kind of someone out there seeing the clients and generating business for us, while Brad and I are also seeing clients and generating business, but also spending time on the business as well, and doing those sorts of things. So that's the next growth phase for us, and when we find the right person to help us with the sales side, it's going to be great for our business and the growth, and really getting into the next phase. Yeah. And then from there, it just comes down to ensuring we've got enough staff to facilitate the sales that are getting done. But yeah, in the immediate, which will hopefully resolve soon, is putting on that extra salesperson.
All right. So you mentioned family. So what do you do when you're not working? What sort of interests do you have?
Well, yeah, family, it takes up a lot of time. So, I mean, during the normal course of a week, it's, 9 to 5 or 7 till 5 work. And then, we both have young families. I've got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old daughters who keep me very busy and keep things, my mind occupied otherwise from work when I get home, which is great. And, so work takes up a lot of the week during work time. Family outside of work, I like to do a bit of exercise at the same time, try and keep fit and healthy. And I also, as I mentioned at the start, Geelong supporter, member, so go to as much footy as I can. Yeah. And, between work, family and a bit of exercise, that's the week done and dusted. So, and relax with a couple of beers on a Saturday night if I get the chance. So,
okay, yeah. I think I've seen...
The weeks go very, very quickly.
Yeah, I think I've seen photos of you with one or perhaps both of your daughters at the footy, all dressed up in Geelong colours.
Yeah, no, well, I've tried taking our 3-year-old a couple of times, and this year we went to one game and we were there for about 10 minutes before we had to go because she was scared of the crowd.
Oh, okay.
And so that was always, I guess, going to happen. But the last game we went to, she lasted the whole time, so she loves it now, which is great. Yeah.
So I was able to focus on football and enjoying it.
Well, that's right, and spend some quality time with the kids is a great thing to do as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right. Have you read any interesting books lately? Is there time to read books in all of that?
I must admit, I'm not a huge book reader. Yeah. I do. So I get the short answer to that is no. I do a lot of reading and online, but not so much books. I watch videos and things like that, but in terms of sitting down and reading books, I don't get a great deal of time to do too much of that.
Yeah, I think I recommend.
I would like to, but
I recommended to our last guest, Stacey Ward, to get some audio books you could listen to, particularly in her case while exercising. You could probably do that
while
too.
exercising,
or
absolutely,
in the car,
and in the car while driving around, and that is a great idea. I've got a close mate who's just got into the audio books recently. Yeah. And it is certainly of interest to me, so I'll endeavour to start listening to more audiobooks.
Yeah. All right. So, if you had a magic wand and could fix one thing in the business, what would that be?
That's a very good question. Well, just ensuring that we find the best possible salesperson moving forward. Which is going to be happening over the next week or two, because it's an important part of our growth strategy, and it's so making sure that we do find the right people out of the applications we've got, and I guess that's the first one, and that's more of a moving forward wish, but the rest of the business is running along pretty nicely. You like to not have to deal with competitors too often, but that's just the way it goes. So you need to generate new business for yourself. So it's all friendly competition out there. And but no, it's I guess it's critical for us to find the right person to fill the sales position. Yeah.
So you got plenty of applicants?
No, we do. So we got interviews. We got a meeting tomorrow and some interviews next week. So looking forward to doing those, and finding the right person.
Yeah. Oh, you've got plenty of applicants to choose from. You should be able to identify somebody that might be a good fit.
Well, yeah, that's right, and I'm sure we will hopefully be able to do that.
Yeah. So, any plans of expanding beyond Geelong or taking on additional services or additional brands?
It's a good question. I mean, we're always looking to expand, and expansion is something that we do talk about. Whether that's looking to expand here in Geelong and acquire other businesses, or to expand and grow really quickly, or whether we look at doing things in different locations, like another regional place just to pull an area, stay in a dealership in Warrnambool or something, or the outskirts of Melbourne. is always a possibility. Certainly not in the immediate, because we want to get things set up here and really cruising along and rocking along here in Geelong first. But expansion plans are certainly things that we have talked about, and would be an exciting thing to look at seriously doing at some point in the future.
Yeah. Okay. So interesting plans maybe down the track sometime.
Yeah, definitely. Certainly options. There's no doubt about it.
All right, great. Let's move on to the referral round. So basically the referral round is designed to help our audience understand and provide you with better referrals. So tell us about your good, bread and butter referral for you.
Well, the bread and butter referrals for us are customers who maybe they'll have a small machine at the office that they've purchased from Officeworks. They're spending a couple $100 a month on ink and toner. Those sort of situations, we're usually able to put them into a proper, and I use the word proper, it's probably the wrong word, but a proper multifunctional device, copy, print, scan, fax, A3, colour, for less than they're spending on their ink cartridges from their current supplier. So, I mean, the bread and butter deals that we do every day that keep things ticking along are just a single machine deals, small business, that need good business colour, reasonably low volume, I guess. You can get away with a brand new machine and service for a few $100s a month, which is a great price. Couple $100s a month, less even. So I mean, there are really our bread and butter referrals. If we're moving on to cream referrals, it's just, I guess, more of the next level. Businesses that need 2 or 3 to 10 machines. Do lots of volume. Registered training organisations, accountants, and lawyers. And places like that are great referrals for us. Got a few as clients at the moment, and obviously looking to expand that. And BNI has been great from that regard. I did my 10-minute presentation a few weeks ago, and they've already had some referrals into my my cream and bread and butter referrals, which is great. So working through those opportunities at the moment, and I guess from a dream perspective, there's just obviously the big businesses, Gordon Institute of TAFE, Deakin University, the hospital, Barwon Health, machines where we're talking 50 to 100 to 200 machines. They're the sort of things that change the game pretty quickly for a business.
That's right.
And, they're the dream referral request that we have, certainly.
Yeah. So what's your point of difference that makes you different and outstanding?
Well, what makes us outstanding is that we're 100% Geelong owned and operated, wholly and solely business. The 2 owners, myself and Brad, are born and bred in Geelong. Even though we're putting on a salesperson soon, we have done up until now, and will continue to oversee and do all of the deals. So you've got the actual owners of the business involved in all the opportunities. So we don't just worry about the sales side of it. We worry about the deal itself, but then we worry about the service component and making sure that the customers are getting the best cost per copies. And that the whole complete package is taken care of. And that will obviously happen with the salesperson, because we'll oversee all those deals as well. So we're really hands-on in the business. We're not just sitting at the top watching things happen. We're hands-on in all of the divisions, and our customers can take solace in knowing that Brad and Ben and the team at Geelong MPS have got everything sorted for them. So,
and also you mentioned before that you've got the ability, with the ability to provide a selection of different brands and different price points and different types of machines, your focus is much more on delivering the best outcome for the client, as opposed to trying to force fit one particular brand or
So we're certainly unlike some competitors, not all the competitors, but some, where it's just a single brand, and regardless of what the customer's needs are, we'll just have to sell this particular product to. We do have options. We've got 3 different brands, a completely vast and wide range of devices that fits all price points. So we can certainly make recommendations based on all the options that we have, which is quite a few. So it's every opportunity will come with our recommendations, and the customers then can choose between price and features and brands, and ensure that we provide the best solution for our customers, not just the one brand.
So I guess we might want to be walking through offices then and paying a bit more attention to what photocopiers are around, or taking a look at documents that people provide us and say, see whether the print quality is up to scratch.
Well, exactly. As long as the machine's not too old. With the machines that are older in the field, customers could be spending a lot more than they need to be. So I guess from a starting point, from our point of view, all we want to do is come in and do an assessment on what the customer's paying, work out what they've got, what they're paying, what their cost per copies are, ensuring that they're getting the right features out of the machine that they have, and doing a bit of an audit, what we would call in the industry an audit, put together some cost comparisons, see if we can save people money, which is obviously important, but at the same time provide with the latest and greatest technology, improve efficiencies within the office for less than what they're currently spending at the moment. And I guess that's the name of the game from our perspective. That's what we do, and that's how we obtain all of our new business opportunities, is by doing that.
That's great. All right, so who's in your network that we might want to get to know?
Well, we got lots of customers. I guess one of the great things about being in B&I is that you expand your networks quickly, and they grow very, very quickly, and we've picked up some great customers from that perspective. Our business, we certainly have some big contracts around Geelong for other people's dream and cream referrals, and we have been introducing people to those as well, and we look forward to providing more opportunities for our networks to meet and greet our customers along the way. We're the official supplier for the International Air Show next year. That's a great contract that we have. Just about to do an upgrade of new machines in there, but along being the customer of Aerospace Australia, we're also the official supplier for the air show. So that's a great thing for us to be involved in, and we get to take clients out to the air show and promote that. So that's just one of the bigger businesses that we look after around town.
Yeah, that's an exciting one.
It's a great time. It's a great period. It's a great few weeks. We get the golden ticket access all areas and some of the things you see. I'm not massively into planes myself, but 2 years ago when we looked after it, it was a great experience. Certainly,
it's a good event, isn't it?
It's fantastic. And they do a great job at Aerospace putting it together. A lot of hard work goes into it, and to see it all come together, and some of those planes and what they can do, and the air walkers, and that's just crazy. So what's going on?
So what's the future then for Geelong Managed Print Solutions?
We got big plans for the business. We want the next 3 years to be as good, and if not better, than the first three. And like we were talking about before, there's expansion plans in our minds, other offices in our minds, and really just to, I guess, from a local perspective, take over Geelong as much as we can, be the preferred supplier for a lot of large businesses and small and medium, and just continue to grow our business and look after our clients. And ensure that we provide them with the best customer service and solutions. Because if we do that, which we do, if we continue to do that, then we should be okay. So
well, that's really good aspirations for providing the best service and solutions.
That's what we're all about. Certainly.
Now, what do you see as the future for the copier industry in general?
Well, that's a very good question, because there's a lot of which has an effect on businesses like mine from a service perspective. But there's a lot of people. Instead of looking at it like a paper reduction, it's more of a shift of paper, because if you email your invoices instead of print them off like you may have previously, the person that you've emailed it to most of the time will still print it off. So I think there's still going to be a lot of printed paper going on, which is great. But our industry is also moving into the solution side, software side. So scanning is a huge feature on the machines now, where you can scan to Word and Excel, searchable PDF. Those features have been around for a little while now, but there's certainly something that people are paying more attention to. Scanning into your document management systems. So software, and providing software that integrates with the machines is, I guess, the future of our industry moving forward, where you can, scan invoices into the back-end document management system, and it knows where to put it and it knows where to file and does everything you need it to do. And then other solutions where you can simply just scan to Word or Excel, and others where you can just use PIN codes and monitor and track costings and things like that. So I mean, all of that's been available for a while, but it's really taking it's really taken off more recently than previously.
Yeah, no, that's exciting stuff, because that kind of on the one hand you've got people still wanting to print, but on the other hand those that are moving, as you said, to maybe the idea of a paperless office, they're probably looking to what can we do with all the paper that we've already got. And
exactly.
So so there's the search for that.
We still have options for people moving to a paperless office as well, so that's a great thing. About some of the software that's available at the moment.
All right, so this might seem like a bit of a Dorothy Dix question here on this podcast, but what's the number one piece of advice you'd give any business owner that wants to grow their business and get more word of mouth referrals?
Well, that's a great lead-in, and it's very, very true. And the piece of advice I'd give to people starting out is to expand your network, and BNI. I mean, BNI is a great way to do that. There's plenty of other ways to get involved as well, even just through sporting organisations, and if you're just hanging around where other business owners hang around and doing what other business owners do and introducing yourself to them, building relationships, that's the key. And as I mentioned at the very beginning, we're involved in BNI, obviously, amongst other things, and it's been the best thing we've done for our business in terms of expanding our networks and generating new business for our business. So that's what I'd say to people: just get out there, meet people, get involved in the community, get involved in groups, and get involved in BNI, certainly. Yeah,
and build the networks and build the relationships. That's great.
Exactly.
Advice. Yeah. So exactly. Wherever you go, it's kind of, a lot of it's about building relationships. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what it's all about. You've got to build relationships, which builds trust. And if you weren't trustworthy and people didn't trust you, then you're not going to get a lot of business, I don't think. So
that's right. Yeah, makes it a little difficult.
It absolutely does. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's been great, Ben. Where can people reach out to say thank you for sharing your time and knowledge with us today?
Well, we have a Facebook page, so just facebook.com/GeelongMPS. Our website is geelongmps.com.au. And they're a great place to start and contact us. You can email ben@geelongmps.com.au. Give us a call. Come in and see us in the showroom. There's plenty of ways.
Yeah, and of course those people that are in Geelong that are listening to the podcast or watching the podcast can come and meet Ben in person at our breakfast. It's not breakfast. It's actually morning tea time, Thursdays at 10 a.m, where the BNI Network Connections group meets at the Wool Exchange.
Absolutely, and we had another great meeting today with some visitors, and plenty of business and referrals being passed around, which is what it's all about.
That's right. So we've nearly turned over 700,000 this year, I think.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah. So a lot of business. All right, and of course you can find out more details about that at the Chapter Network, the Chapter website, bninetworkgeelong.com.au, and you'll find where you'll find also this podcast and the video and all the show notes underneath at that website address. So it's been a great pleasure to have you on the Network Connections podcast, Ben. Thanks very much for sharing your time with us.
Thanks, Jürgen. It's been a pleasure. It's been great to have a chat with you, mate.
Yeah, and I wish you all the best for Geelong Managed Print Solutions, and I'm sure I'll be watching closely within our little network group.
Fantastic. Look forward to it, and I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks, Ben.
Thank you.
Bye.
See ya.